Another week is over, another weekend is upon us, and there you have it, the Tube's weekend edition. All the best stories that made our week coming at ya all over again for a second, deeper, better look. Let's do it. With me are Shai Ringel and Daniel Roth. How was your week, boys?
It was a good week. Not big on stories, but we had fun. We had a very interesting guest yesterday, the Genie guys, and we want one of those machines.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
How was your week, Daniel Roth?
I spent the week contemplating if I'm going to make the move to Google Calendar. It's a tough choice. Right now I use a paper planner. So I'm not sure what I'm going to decide, but I'll decide this weekend.
Okay, well, good luck with that decision. Let's start our
Thank
show.
you.
Another week, but another series of attacks on the free internet. In Britain, sneaky legislation extended the GCHQ's legitimacy to hack or break into any private device or database, giving its secret agency for digital surveillance even more power. Meanwhile, in Russia, the government has launched a project to support a separate mobile OS network, cutting on its tech dependency on Android and iOS. In Australia, on the other hand, the teaching of encryption might become illegal. We live in great times. Shai, what's going on?
Okay, let's start with Australia because it's a really interesting story. The legislator wants to ban any encryption. Anyone who uses any encryption programs can go to jail. It's not even a fine. It's actually you'll be charged as a criminal and will go to jail. And if you'll teach encryption, the law also can take you to jail. And that's because the law enforcement in Australia wants to go after the mafia. They say that mafias in Australia today have their own IT divisions where people are working to help the mafia deliver messages that nobody can read. And this is an interesting side of it.
Making encryption illegal?
Yeah.
It's extreme.
Yeah, it's very extreme because we know today that our information out there will be taken by governments and agencies. So encryption is the last tool we have to keep our information private. So Australia taking a really, really big step towards making our information go straight to big corporations and agencies.
What do you think, Daniel? Do you think that we're going to end up with each superpower having its own internet like we have now in China, for example?
I really don't think so. I think that business-wise, just not even talking about governments, business-wise, international corporations, and the will of people who are already used to an international internet are, there's such a strong push for borders to not exist, at least for money. For money and things, borders basically don't exist now. There's discussions about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, there's Atlantic partnerships, there's North American partnerships, and partnerships of the Americas. And in all of these partnerships, in all of these agreements, you have really great deals for corporations, for information that they want to pass through borders, for money to pass through borders without corporations having to pay taxes. Again, none of this has to do with common people, but the push is so strong in most of the world for corporate interest to be able to cross borders that the internet, I think, as long as it's ruled as it is right now, because we're already past the Wild West stage, as long as it's ruled by multi-billion-dollar companies like Google and Facebook, we're going to see cross-border internet.
Shortly, do you agree?
I kind of agree, and we can see that in places like Iran that try to build their own network and failed because it will cost them a lot of money just to disconnect from the internet.
Well, Thank God for money.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. This week has been the week of, well, full of things. And not just any things. Things for the Internet of Things. Things like a very smart dog collar, a super smart working desk, a smart remote control for all the smart things you still don't own, and a new smart Samsung app that connects all your Samsung things. On top of that, Intel has opened a lab in Israel dedicated to cooperation with startups who are working on, well, things. So let us allow Intel to explain what it all means.
Imagine an intelligent device such as a smart traffic camera. The camera can monitor the road for congestion, accidents, and weather conditions, and communicate that status to a gateway that combines it with data from other cameras, creating an intelligent citywide traffic system. Now, imagine that intelligent traffic system connected to other citywide transportation systems, which get data from their own intelligent devices, creating an ever larger intelligent system of systems. The really big possibilities come from analyzing the end-to-end data across that system of systems. For example, let's say the city's intelligent traffic system detects massive congestion due to an accident. That insight can be sent to the citywide transportation system, which can analyze the accident's impact on other city systems. Recognizing the accident is near the airport and 2 city schools, it could notify those systems so they can adjust flight and school schedules.
Okay, well, maybe it's just me, but I have a feeling that all this talk about smart things is just for me to buy more tech things as a consumer, and that's it.
It's partly that, certainly. It's we live in an age where it's not even as it was in the last century, where products were remarketed every year with new models of that product. It's that new products are actually coming out every year and every few months. So part of it is definitely to get us to buy things. Part of it is that the technology is moving so incredibly fast that there are, you know, if you can do the searching, if you can figure it out, there are really worthwhile things within the pile of stuff.
Yeah, but this week we talked about a remote control for the things that you will have in your house when your house will be smart. Yeah. They're selling the remote control before the things even exist.
They are selling the smart house. If you live in the United States, there's a good chance that you saw one in your Home Depot. For now, all it can do is, with your watch, you can turn the light on and off or dim it a little, so it's still small stuff, but the idea is coming, and the tech world is convinced that you want it. You want smart things, you need a smart kettle. Like every 2 weeks when I talk about the startup world in my segment, it seems like everything is going to be smart. Everybody is trying to look for a smart desk. We had a smart kettle. Like,
I actually get the smart kettle thing. I want from bed to press heat and for, you know, the water in the morning to boil before I wake up to make my tea.
Yeah.
You know, tech journalists are really excited about the Internet of Things and the public. What about him? Does he even understand what is the Internet of Things? Does he care? Should he care?
He should care. He still doesn't know what it really means. He hears it's a really big buzzword. The keyword will be information. Like my phone has so much information on me, and it's still not enough. So my desk will have more information, and my kettle will have more information on me, and everything will have information that if you'll cross informations together, you can get a bigger picture on the world and make everything automatic and smarter. So that's the keyword, and that's why people need to understand the Internet of Things, because it's really going to change not only the way we are living at home, but also our environment.
Well, from what I understand, it only might just get a little more efficient life outside.
It's partially the efficiency.
I'm very partially for you today.
Efficiency will be gained in these systems. there's also a lot of shortcomings. But one of the interesting things is that the Internet of Things may take our faces out of these little boxes we call our phones, where we're all with our faces up in these boxes, and start to put us back into the world, so that when we're trying to check information, when we're trying to communicate with someone, we're not stuck in this one little rectangle, but we've got things all around us that are part of our daily
How is
workload.
that connected to the Internet of Things?
Well, it's items all around us that are giving us, connecting us with the world, connecting us with people, connecting us with information. Instead of having a remote control, you're gonna be interacting with all of these things.
Okay, we're gonna talk about it maybe after the show's over, because never mind. Let's move on. The ground is shaking under the music streaming industry with the failed launch of Jay-Z's Tidal and the growing losses of market leader Spotify, and weeks before the launch of Apple's and Google's music streaming service. Spotify has ruled this week with a series of announcements of new features to strengthen its hold on 60 million users. Will it be enough? We don't know, but this video they made is pretty cool.
Start running. Tempo detected.
Okay, we love the Tidal story.
Yes, love
it. It's a lovely, glittery story of failure.
Yes, it's a hilarious rollout of something that was so incredibly poorly thought through and so not worth it for consumers. And I'm just so glad that the world saw through the ruse that was multimillionaires trying to get us on their side.
Educate us.
Educate
yes.
us. So the millionaires have, lost. Spotify is really struggling. And very soon we're going to have YouTube and Google in the game. Can we imagine what's going to happen, Shai?
There's a couple of things here, and Spotify's move, I think, and Spotify's move has something to do with Tidal, and of course YouTube that's coming up, because the streaming music as a business, as a model, is failing completely, but it has a lot of users. Like, a lot of people use Spotify, and a lot of people love the Spotify. So Spotify are kind of moving from the music business model to be a entertainer, or great entertainer, like Netflix. Netflix, a lot of people love their Netflix because it brings them a lot of entertainment. So Spotify wants to go there. It wants to be an all-in-one. It will bring you videos and podcasts, and you don't need even, Apple's running apps. It will also have an app that will bring the music you need in the tempo you need to run. Spotify are really trying to be as broad as possible, because just relying on streaming music is a failing business.
Yeah, but let's talk about streaming music in general, because it was the hope of the music business, but artists are not happy, companies are losing money, and only the consumer, not in Israel though, is happy because they need or free or to pay a very reasonable amount to listen to as much music as they want. So first of all, you didn't really answer about Apple and Google, because I'm trying to imagine what can they bring to the game, or is streaming in general just not gonna work?
Historically, there's two sides to the music business. There's the music side, and that's essential. Obviously, you need the artists, you need people creating content. Otherwise, there is no business. The other side is, of course, the distribution. That's what record companies used to do. That's what internet companies can do because we're all on the internet now. And that's really what we're talking about. So can Apple and Google take over distribution? Of course they can. Can Spotify, they have 60 million users, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they're proven to be a kind of distributor. And the question is, what other kinds of content can Spotify distribute? And the question for Google and Apple is, can they do well in being the music company?
We'll wait and see exactly when Apple and YouTube released theirs. Now, guess who's back? It's Action Movie Kid, our favorite viral superhero, brainchild and actual child of DreamWorks animator Daniel Hashimoto, who finally got his own web series in cooperation with and cash from YouTube's new creators channel, Field Day. Save us, Action Movie Kid. Save us.
Her brother James is really excited to meet her.
Whoa! James! No using your powers around the baby!
Having 2 kids is great, but those first few months were super crazy.
Open the door!
There was the baby proofing of the house.
Oh, buddy, I said no more powers! Why do you imagine such dangerous things?
Try to lead a safe, normal life, but...
You know how kids can be when a new sibling shows up?
And that's it. Show's over. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you very much, Shai. Thank you very much, viewers. We'll be back on Monday with a brand new show of The Tube. Log on to our internet. We love you also there. I'll be back on Monday. Goodbye.